Hi, everybody. Welcome into Morning in the Valley. It is Wednesday, July the 9th. Glad you are with us today. Hopefully, the stream's okay, audio's okay. It's going to be a little bit different today. We've taken the show on the road today in Dublin, Ohio, just outside of Columbus. Had a little family situation. Unfortunately, having to go to a funeral later today, so not in our normal home. Again, hopefully the Wi-Fi I think is holding up okay, and we'll be able to get through this together today. Camp Wagner, the Indiana State junior guard, got a chance to talk to him about an hour ago. Recorded that interview. We'll bring that to you here in just a couple of minutes. If you haven't done so already, as I ask every morning, and hope you would be so kind as to do it. If you have not yet, please head over to YouTube, search out Morning in the Valley, and subscribe to our show there. We've got any show you've missed, past audio or past interview clips, and all kinds of stuff over there. So just trying to build the community there. And as we get closer to the season, and certainly those shows you the little notification bell you can hit. So every time we go live, you'll get notified. And yes, we're here every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 9 a.m. But as we get closer to the season, those will become a little more frequent, and maybe not always at 9 o'clock. So just do us a favor, head over and subscribe, and that will help us out considerably. All right, the news of the day, and I've hoped of this for several weeks. I'm going to really hope maybe today this can be the last time that we talk about the House settlement for a minute, but I think I know better. But with that said, Valparaiso has announced they are in, and they have opted in to the House settlement. The athletic director, Laurel Hosmer, making that announcement online. I believe it was yesterday. And look, I think that we have reached a point now where I feel very confident that we're going to be 11 for 11 in the Missouri Valley Conference with everybody opting in. I just think that ultimately to not opt in would have been problematic from a competitive advantage that it's not even like tying one arm behind your back. I mean, it's like putting yourself in a straitjacket and just really challenging yourself to be able to compete more than ever. And so I think that the one thing that I will give credit to Valparaiso's the news release they put out yesterday, maybe late Monday, that they were in the that they were opting in, and this was a question that had sort of circled around things, and I had not been in front of somebody to ask, and they answered it for me. Was that the House settlement is at its crux? It is you're paying back $2.8 billion to all these former athletes that didn't have an opportunity to make money from NIL. And what's happening is that obviously the Power Four conferences were the conferences that were going to be hit the hardest. But the Missouri Valley Conference, as Jeff Jackson told our good friend Harry Schrader a couple of weeks ago, was that basically over the next 10 years, which is the length of the House settlement, is that the Missouri Valley Conference was going to lose $40 million of distributions from the NCAA. Not that they have to write a check for $40 million. It's just that all that money that comes in from whether it's the NCAA basketball tournament or a variety of other things, that money's not coming in anymore. So it basically breaks down to $4 million a year. It was going to be about $400,000 ish per school every year that they were getting in their budget. Well, here's the thing: if whether or not you opt in, you weren't getting that money. So in the end, there's no downside to opting in. The only thing that some schools may have had pause about was if we opt in, now we have roster limits. And for certain schools like Valpo, that is non-scholarship football. Well, if you do that, you've got all these kids that, you may have, and I'm just making numbers up, that, hey, we have 150 kids on our football roster that are walk-ons, but they're paying their own way. Well, now that number has to come down. That's the only reason. And those kids have been grandfathered in with this House settlement. So there's no, you almost just have to do it, just from a standpoint of you give yourself an opportunity to revenue share with your guys and your gals and wherever the money's going in your athletic department. But you don't have to pay your players. You don't have to, but you have that option. And yes, now there's some extra scrutiny with your NIL deals. That's fine too. But in the end, this was really just a non. You have to do it. You have to do it. And if you can't do it because you need those extra 30 guys on your football team, they're going to walk on and pay their own way because you need those for enrollment to the university. I can't even imagine the daily financial struggles that presents, because that's tough. So I'm just glad to see that, Valpo in. I thought they were if anybody was going to be a possible foot out, it was them, but they are in. And so we still haven't heard officially, I do not believe, from Northern Iowa. We have not heard from UIC. I think that's it with my checklist that is back in Kentucky right now, but they're going to be in, or they are in. They just haven't made public statements. So Valpo is in, and that's good. Again, it's interesting now that you have these, the collectives are to the side. Now you have these funds. We're trying to raise money to revenue share, and Valpo's calling theirs the Excellence Fund. There have been multiple Excellence Funds. That's so around the Missouri Valley. But the other thing that Laurel Hosmer came out and said in that release was, please come to games. If you don't want to write checks, that's fine. You can support us by coming to games, and that has been just across the board. Just about every school in the conference, when they put out their release about the house settlement, somewhere in there was, you can help us by coming to games. Buy tickets, and that will help us. So for now, today, that's all the house settlement talk we have for today. But we're in the barn with the house settlement stuff for at least another day. But Valpo is in. Scheduling news. We saw that yesterday, our friend Rocco Miller, Bracketeer.org, reporting that Illinois State's men finalizing a deal to play USC in Los Angeles on November the 14th in a neutral site game. And when that one first popped up, I mean, I channeled my inner Vern Lundquist and was like, well, how do you do? That's a good one. And to get it in it is a neutral site game. It is, again, in Los Angeles, but it's at the Intuit Dome, the Clippers' new I don't know, is it $1 billion? They spent so much money on that arena, and it is state of the art. It's part of a doubleheader with UCLA and Arizona. So look, you're in LA. Yes, that's USC's home base, but UCLA will have people there. Arizona will have people there. It's going to be a neutral site, and there's a whole UCLA and Arizona from the old days of the Pac-10, Pac-12, whatever. Well, I'm sure that Illinois State and USC will be game one of the doubleheader. Well, everybody in there that's rooting for UCLA and Arizona, they don't care for USC a lick. So Illinois State will have a whole lot of fans if they're able to hang around that game and maybe pick one off. Last year, they were 17-18 last year, was USC, and the first year of Eric Musselman, first year in the Big Ten, ended up 57 in the KenPom, even despite a losing record, just from playing in the Big Ten. And as good as that conference is from a depth standpoint overall, but Bart Torvik this year and his projections, he's got them at 24. I mean, that's quad one game, and you get them on a neutral site. It is, I don't know how the heck Ryan Peden pulled this one off, but kudos to Coach Peden, and a huge opportunity now for the Redbirds to go out to LA and get a win. The first 10 days of the season, they've got a neutral site game with Utah State. I believe that's out in Salt Lake City. You've got Cornell at Ohio, neutral site. You're probably getting Furman or Richmond as well. So this non-conference schedule is coming together nicely for Coach Peden, and a big announcement there. A former old friend alert here, and this is, let's see, where's Paris Lee? Paris Lee is somewhere in my little graphical package here. Here's Paris Lee, the 2017 Missouri Valley Conference Player of the Year, also the Defensive Player of the Year. Once upon a time, he has signed a 2-year contract with the Unix Club in Russia. So continuing now, I mean, gosh, it's almost been 10 years since he's left Illinois State, but still plugging along, and now heading over to Russia to play for a couple seasons there. More old friends, Julian Larry, the former Indiana State Sycamore, who played 4 years there, part of that great team 2 years ago that came up just short of the NCAA tournament. He was at Texas last year. He has signed. He's going to go to Germany, play for the Uni Baskets Munster team. I don't speak German. There's a 3% chance I got that right, but he's going to Germany to play professionally. So congratulations to Julian for that. Speaking of Indiana State, we also have, and speaking of names that I have no shot to be able to get right, Jovan Bugenout. It's Bugenout. I practiced this on YouTube for like 20 minutes today. Jovan Bugenout from Belgium. Arman Jovic, who is works covering international basketball. He's on X at PDT Scouting. He is a very locked into the international game. He is reporting Indiana State has not reported anything officially, but Arman Jovic is reporting that Jovan Bugenout has signed with Indiana State to join the roster. He is played professionally in Belgium for the last couple of years, played in the top professional league in Belgium. Maybe most significantly, he is 22 years old. And so he will be an old freshman, presuming he's coming to Terre Haute ultimately. 7.5 points, 6.5 assists per game last year for this top team in the BNXT, a 6'2" point guard. So certainly some depth, maybe a starter. Who knows? But if this ends up getting to the finish line, we hope to get some official confirmation from the folks in Terre Haute soon. But Jovan Bugenout from Belgium reportedly signing with the Sycamores. Okay, speaking of Indiana State, now to the present day, not guys that have been there before or coming, but guys that are there right now. I want to talk about Camp Wagner. When Paul Oren from the Victory Bell came on a month or so ago, and we did our all Valley team of returning guys, Camp Wagner, I think, came in fourth. I mean, he was right near the top as last season, just one of 4 guys in the Missouri Valley Conference to make at least 83 3-pointers. He made 83. There were only 3 guys that made more, and that was Bradley's Duke Dean, it was Belmont's Tyler Lundblade, and it was Drake's Mitch Muscari. He was in absolute great company last year. Had 31 points at Belmont, making 9 threes in the game, shot 38% for the season. And he is now back for a junior year, a second year in Terre Haute. Got a chance to talk with him about an hour ago. We sat down on his way. He's there in practice right now, able to catch him before practice. But I want to give you our conversation from earlier today. Again, hopefully the stream holds up here from our dungeon that we'll be able to get all this across to you in a manner that it's not terrible to listen to. But here is my conversation from about an hour ago with Indiana State junior guard Camp Wagner. Camp Wagner, welcome to Morning in the Valley. I know you're getting ready to head to practice. What's the morning routine for you before you go to a 10 a.m. practice?
Main thing for me is I gotta wake up and get my coffee before practice, get a little breakfast in me. Not much else.
Big cereal eater? Are we eating eggs, pancakes, lots of carbs? What's the plan?
They typically have like a breakfast sandwich for us at the facility, so that's typically what I'm eating.
Keep it simple. All right, getting ready for year number 2 here with the Sycamores. What has summer workouts been like for you guys now that you've all been together for a month or so?
Yeah, they've been really good this summer. I think this summer, as opposed to last summer, we've been a lot more focused on defense as a team. And I think summer workouts are already all pretty similar. Like you're getting a good routine, but as far as like what we're doing, it's a lot of learning the offense and the schemes and like what type of motions we're wanting to run and what type of actions we're trying to get to when we're doing our offense. So it's been a lot of reps with that, and then a lot of playing too. So it's been fun.
Your career the last couple of years, you finish out high school at Link Academy for your prep school. You go to Rice for a year. You at Indiana State. Just being in a place for 2 years in a row. How nice of a change of pace is that for you? Not having to just kind of learn a whole new place.
For sure. Yeah, that's actually something I've said to a handful of people. Like, this is weird because I think the last 4 years have all been a different spot for me. High school, I graduated, then I go to post grad, then freshman year, then sophomore year at Indiana State. So coming back to a familiar place where I didn't have to move my stuff out was really nice. And coaches I knew already had a relationship for the past year. Like, it weirdly is new to me. So yeah, I've been really enjoying it so far. It definitely gave me a new level of comfort in my game and just where I'm at. So I really enjoyed it.
From somebody who's been through the transfer portal, what is that experience like? Maybe not only as much getting in, but then okay, I've made my choice, and I'm going to Indiana State, and now trying to just start a new home, basically.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it's different for every dude just based on the situation. But for me, coming out of Rice, as a freshman, like I didn't get to play much. So my transfer portal experience was um, still super busy. Like a lot of the schools that ended up recruiting me were the same ones that had recruited me out of high school because not many new teams were going to come after me after I had only played in a few games at Rice and didn't have much production. But yeah, it's definitely a stressful time of the year. You kind of go from me personally not playing much during the season, so you're kind of just working out and watching film with coaches and just trying to sharpen your game. And then out of nowhere, it's like bang, you're back in the portal, got to find a new spot, and you've got new coaches, old coaches all calling you, trying to build a relationship. So it's a honestly a grind, and once you find the right spot and get committed and sign, it's definitely a huge relief. So um, yeah, last year for me, I think I was in the portal for 3 weeks and I was exhausted. And then honestly, Indiana State came along a little later, and when they did, I was pretty excited and got that done pretty quick.
Maybe the other perspective of the portal is being at a place, having your friends and teammates leave, and then new guys coming in. What is that part of the process like?
Yeah, that part of the process for me is this year is the first year I really experienced that because we only had 4 or 5 returners and then 12 new guys, honestly. But it's honestly really fun. It's like a new. Actually, one of my closer friends actually stayed on the team. I'm been closer with Derek. He's my roommate, and Bruno. We went to dinner a lot last year, so losing those guys would have been tough. I'm not saying bad things for the guys that left. I love those dudes, and I was sad they left, but it wasn't as hard for me this past year because some of the guys I was closest with stayed. But it's been awesome just to meet the new guys, get to know their personalities, and it's fun because like every year, it's also fun to have continuity, but like having the just new guys come in, bring their new personalities is also fun.
Last year, you guys, it seemed like a season of close. 12 games, you lose by 10 points or less, and the ending heartbreaker at Arch Madness against Southern Illinois. Looking back on it, just what was it where you guys would get right there, but you just so often just didn't seem like you could kick the door in and go grab a win?
Mm-hmm. I think the main thing I would chalk it up to is probably a lack of leadership overall on our team, with the players for sure. I just don't think we had that one dude who was gonna just like demand excellence and take over at the end of a game. Not even to score the ball, but just we had just had a lot of mental issues like fouling in the backcourt to give the other team free throws, careless turnovers to blow the game, and I just think we had a lot of miscommunications down the
Yeah.
line that definitely would have been fixed if there was more leadership, more togetherness, just among our team.
It's only been 5 weeks since you guys have kind of been together, maybe even a little bit less, I guess. But does it does it feel like maybe that is, and you won't really know until you're back in the fire in November, but is there at least a sense of maybe a little more focused leadership from the players' side?
Yeah, I for sure do think there is. We have more returners this year than we did last year, and I think those guys combined also with guys that have already came in that have already established themselves as leaders and guys who are vocal and just demand greatness. So I'm really excited about this year's team. Truthfully, I think we've got a really good chance to do something special.
Duke Dean, Tyler Lundblade, Mitch Muscari, Camp Wagner, the only four guys last year to hit 83 threes in a season. What's it like hitting 9 in a game down at Belmont and lighting up the Bruins a little bit?
It's a pretty great feeling. I mean, that game was weird because I think I had 1 3 the first 25 minutes, and in the last 15, I kind of got hot. And so, I mean, when you're in that zone, you're not really thinking of anything except hoping you get the ball to put it up. So,
Right.
yeah, it was awesome. I had a lot of family and friends there, so that was definitely a highlight of my basketball career.
In terms of growth from, when we talked with Coach Graves a couple weeks ago, and he said coming out of Rice, you were dealing with some knee stuff, and you were kind of on a pitch count a little bit last summer, and finally you saw that. Hey, I go get 31 at Belmont. I go hit 9 threes in a game, and things really took off towards the end. Where are you trying to take your game this summer that when we see you again in November, we're like, oh, didn't know he had that in his bag?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I definitely. I mean, as most people, when they look at me, they see mostly a catch and shoot guy. So this offseason, summer, I've really been trying to develop my game and work on my handle and just creating for others and even creating my own shot off the dribble or getting to the rim. Because I think that's something that I do have honestly in my skill set, but like you said, I really was down a bit last summer, and it kind of followed me into the year a little bit to where I just wasn't comfortable cutting as much or getting to the rim as much because I knew I just wasn't gonna be able to explode like I wanted to and finish at the rim. So yeah, I'm hopefully really excited to show people that I've got more of my game than just catch and shoot.
Coach said we have just seen the tip of the iceberg of your talent. Are you as optimistic, cautiously optimistic, maybe as he is about that? We're going to sort of see an unleashed Camp Wagner on the Valley this year.
That's definitely high praise. I don't know about that, but I definitely think I have the chance to definitely surprise some people with what I can bring to the table beyond just having a quick shot.
5 brothers and sisters. What's it like growing up in a house like that?
It was awesome. I wouldn't change it for the world. I'm the youngest, so 2 older brothers, 3 older sisters, and that was amazing growing up with them. They all got out of the house a little quick because the closest sibling to me is 4 years, so I had the house to myself also a little bit. But from when I was born to freshman year, I was always surrounded by my siblings, and I really wouldn't change it for the world.
Was it a basketball house?
I wouldn't say it was a basketball house. My older brothers did play basketball, but I think my parents would be upset if I didn't say it was a Jesus house, not a basketball house. But
that's fair.
We definitely enjoyed sports. I'd say it was a basketball, baseball, football house.
Who's your guy from a basketball standpoint? Who's your basketball role model?
Probably Klay Thompson. I think whenever I sit down, like at the end of the day, and I'm bored or something, and I want to learn something, I'll just look up like Klay Thompson shooting workouts or Klay Thompson rookie year highlights. I don't know. I just really enjoy watching him and the way he moved and the way he shot. It's just a thing of beauty.
He can defend too. At least he could when his knees still worked. So are we gonna defend like Klay? We know you can shoot like Klay. Can you defend like him a little bit?
Yes, sir. I meant to hit that earlier when you were talking about what I wanted to improve on. Definitely gotta improve the defense. So
I think Coach Graves slipped that in our conversation too, but every coach is going to do that. What's it like playing for Coach Graves?
It's awesome. I definitely put him up there with my favorite coaches I've ever played for. He's a great dude, like super genuine. He's never really gonna raise his voice at you unless you really frustrate him, but I've rarely seen that. He's just a straight shooter. Like he's gonna tell you what you need to hear, and he's gonna deliver it in a way that's not like scary. Or I could take whatever, but
sure.
he just he's just a super genuine guy, and he's one of the only coaches I ever played for that the guy he is off the court or is the same exact dude he is on the court. So he's super easy guy to play for, want to win games for.
Looking at the schedule in the non-conference, there's one kind of big one, November 14th, down in Durham, North Carolina, against the old Duke Blue Devils. What's your level of excitement, anticipation going to go play? Maybe not as much. First, how excited are you to play Duke? That's obviously a big game, but going to one of the cathedrals of college basketball and going to Cameron Indoor and playing, what's that going to be like for you?
Yeah, I'm super pumped about that. I mean, that's one of those games and things on the schedule that already in June, you wake up for a morning practice, you're like, dang, I don't want to go. And then you're like, dang, we played Duke in 5 months. I got to go work my butt off and get ready for that. So I'm definitely super excited for that. And funny enough, I've also got 2 of my old Rice teammates transferred to Duke. So that'll be fun also to see them there. So I'm super pumped about that. I've never been to Cameron Indoor, so honestly, just going there would be fun. But the fact that we get to play there will be super sick.
I've been lucky enough to be there twice. You're gonna love it, I promise. It's a tiny little bandbox of a place. It'll be hot, but it'll be awesome. So I'm happy for you and excited for you on that. Camp Wagner, I'm gonna let you get back to your coffee and get ready to go to practice. So I appreciate the time today, and best of luck this season. Hopefully we can talk soon.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you having me on here. It's truly a privilege.
There was Camp Wagner. These kids, they're sirring and it's a privilege stuff. It makes me squirm a little bit, but he was awesome. I'm glad to get him on this morning, and just one of the best shooters in the league, and certainly interested to see what kind of leaps he will be able to take this upcoming season. All right, we have got some new, and I don't know, as I'm again not playing at home base here, I don't know if we've got the visual proof that we need for this, but Murray State announced their 15th and final signing yesterday, as they have signed Lachlan Crate out of New Zealand, as the international flavor continues here for Ryan Miller's first bunch and his first roster at Murray State. Crate played alongside Valparaiso incoming freshman Carter Hopoi on that New Zealand national team at the FIBA U19 championships, the World Cup last week in Switzerland. Crate was Crate and Hopoi helped New Zealand finish fourth in the world. So got a lot of run and played well. Coach Miller was there overseas checking him out, and obviously making sure that everything was still all in line, and paperwork is now signed and he is officially a racer. Not sure when he will be getting officially to campus, but hopefully, they've only got a couple. I think they break at the end of July, and they'll get a couple weeks off before they return for school starting, and then getting off and running with the fall practice. So we'll see when he's able to get in and start working. Originally committed to Green Bay. In the old journalism world, details are sketchy, but he had committed to Green Bay. The details of his decommitment, it just kind of suddenly was no longer affiliated with Green Bay. So not sure what happened there, but he had originally committed to Doug Gottlieb and Green Bay, but now he is back. Or now he has found a new home, and it will be with Murray State. So 3 international players coming to Murray State, 2 from France, Roman Damon and Matisse Corbin, and now Lachlan Crate coming in from New Zealand. But 15 finally on the roster, and we've seen a lot of July signings. School, especially once the opting into the house settlement was finally official, and teams going from 13 to 15. Murray State, they were always going to be opting in, but the slow climb to 15, they have finally reached that, and now their journey has completed with the roster, and now they can fully start getting ready for 25, 26. Darryl Brown Jr., the former 3-time All-Missouri Valley Conference player. This is now officially official. He's been on staff the last 2 years at Bradley as director of player development. He is now officially part of the Memphis staff with Penny Hardaway, who happens to be his godfather. So down in Memphis, going to be the director of player development there. 3-time All-Missouri Valley Conference player, the 2020 Missouri Valley Conference Tournament MVP. So a great career there at Bradley. 5th all-time in scoring, 1,860 points. Finished his collegiate career, came back the last 2 seasons with Coach Wardle, and now has found his new stop there down in Memphis. On the administrative side, Evansville's Ziggy Siegfried has a new contract. The athletic director, he has been extended through 2030. He was hired at Evansville in 2022. One of his hires was David Ragland. One of his first hires was David Ragland, men's basketball coach. And look, the thing that I respect about Ziggy Siegfried is, you see it in sports, like pro sports, where you get sort of the new owner syndrome, as some have called it, where they come in and they're like, I got money to spend and I'm going to spend it and we're going to make crazy moves and you don't know how this is all going to work out. And crazy be damned. I'm just making moves to make moves. And it probably helps on some level that Siegfried was the one that hired David Ragland. But David Ragland is 33 and 66 in 3 years. And Ziggy Siegfried has stood behind him and been like, I've got the right guy, and this is going to be right. And so just not, just having patience with it and knowing that they've got a challenging situation, as he has talked about from an NIL standpoint and everything, and that he has seen the development, that the wins are going up every year in the league. They have gotten really good players, just haven't been able to keep them, losing them in the portal. But it is, I thought that's been great. And so he is like all the ADs. I don't envy any of them in the Missouri Valley, whether you're at the top, the bottom, anywhere in the middle, trying to navigate all this new stuff and all this new landscape that, man, when you got into college athletics and got into the administrative side of things, you thought, this is the job I'm going to have. Never in a million years could you have dreamed up that this is the job we have today. But that is, he is doing a good job navigating that. And so he is all locked and loaded now through 2030 there in Evansville. And our last headline of the day, and this will be something that we will find out if it's today. Pat Forty from Sports Illustrated saying definitely by the end of the week, but maybe as early today, we will officially get word on NCAA tournament expansion for the 2026 tournament and whether that goes to 72 teams, whether it goes to 76 teams, or it just feels from a public momentum standpoint, the very slim chance it stays at 68. We've talked about this a lot, over the last couple of weeks, and I am sort of torn I'm torn from a standpoint of if you add teams, whether you add 4, whether you add 8, certainly guarantees nothing, but I feel like it at least cracks the door to a better opportunity at access for a second, God willing, a third Missouri Valley Conference team to get in to the NCAA tournament. There has been sort of a general. Matt Norlander from CBS Sports wrote a great article. It had a lot of numbers in it, but the basic gist of the article was that the public at large has been sold this bag of goods from the power conferences about why do we need to expand, and the general argument being that, well, it's about access. The NCAA Division I has grown, and we need to have access for more schools to be able to get in because of, and by more schools, that means more power schools to get in. Matt Norlander's math. In 1985, there were 282 Division I teams, and that's when we had a 64-team tournament, and that was 22.7% of the membership got into the NCAA tournament. In 2025, we had 364 Division I teams with 68 teams. That 22.7 dropped to 18.7. So, yes, by the math, things have gotten smaller. But the point was that all those teams that were added in the last 40 years have either been mid-major or low major, and mostly have been added to leagues that are only one bid leagues. So they're not taking spots away from the big boys. It's just wrong. It is fudging the numbers at best. At worst, it is just a flat lie because it is wrong. There have been 91 teams that have been added to Division I since 1985, according to Matt Norlander. And since in those 40 years, there have been 1,400 at-large spots to the NCAA tournament. 1,400. The amount of that group of 91 that have shown up since 1985, one earned an at-large bid. One out of 1,400. And that was Central Florida in 2019 when they were in the American, which was almost the Power 4, Power 5. They were almost kind of part of the Power 6. So you can hardly say that, fine. Mid-major, fine. That's it. So you're not taking spots away by growing Division I. It has not taken spots away from the power schools. It simply has not. I feel like in the end, this is going to come down to, it's going to come down to money. I don't know if that's going to be the end-all, be-all decision. But look, I don't know what the number is because I wasn't smart enough to look it up before we started. I'm just going to say $2 billion, whatever it may be, that the CBS is paying that much money to have the NCAA tournament on. Well, I think the NCAA's thought is we're going to give you more teams, which means more inventory. Hey, we need to go back to the table, and that $2 billion needs to grow because we need to distribute that to our members. I don't know that CBS is going to come up with more money because, as we have talked about, For me, as a viewer who loves this sport, the first four in Dayton, unless it is a school that I am intimately caring of, I don't watch it at all. I don't watch the 16 versus the 16. I don't watch the 11 versus the 11. I don't watch it. To me, the tournament doesn't start until Thursday. I am not alone. And so from a CBS standpoint, they're like, why are we going to pay more for a product that people don't really even watch? So now you're adding more 16 and 16s maybe, or more 11s versus 11s. And yeah, there's going to be somebody in there that I care about that I'm going to watch. But for the most part, the majority of the product, I'll wait until Thursday. And that's ESPN, because whatever the men's tournament expands to, goes to 72, goes to 76, the women's tournament is going to expand to the exact same number. So that's another component to this, is the women's tournament will expand. ESPN has the rights to the women's tournament, and ESPN has said, you want to expand? Awesome. We have all the networks in the world to show all your games. Happy to do it. You are not getting one more penny from this contract for that. So the women's side, ESPN's put the foot down. I just don't know that there's going to be more. So you expand, everybody's slice of the pie gets a little bit smaller, but the hope is that, hey, we get more teams in, we get more pieces of the pie, and in the end, and that's from the Big Ten and the SEC, who, again, had 14 of their 16 teams in last year, that they get enough pie that it offsets what they didn't have with just a 68-team field. I saw this morning, Matt Norlander put up a very unofficial poll on X and was basically like, yay or nay to expansion. And 94% of people said, no, leave it the way it is. And it was just the response I saw from one side of the aisle was just that this shows what a poor job that the power brokers in the sport have done that want this change in trying to sell it to the consumers, the people that love basketball, love the NCAA tournament. They have not done a good job selling it to say, this is why we have to do it, and making a legitimate argument other than we need more access. That doesn't fly. That doesn't fly. Now, Commissioner Jeff Jackson from the Missouri Valley Conference, who has talked in the past about he is in favor of expansion to the tournament because he believes that will be helpful for Missouri Valley to get a second, be a multi-bid league, whatever that means, but more than one. He told Seth Davis from CBS Sports, he said, totally in favor of adding 8 teams to the NCAA tournament. I believe that the depth in college basketball warrants a larger field. I also believe the aperture for selection is too small due to that depth. You can use my name, he said. As an aside to the unit value, I'm not convinced that the unit value has to stay the same or increase for this to occur. It would be helpful and easier if it did, but the value to our campuses manifests in ways that go beyond just the simple value of a unit. Rob Doster from Field of 68 responded to that this morning, just said, this isn't about Jeff Jackson specifically, but administrators and conference commissioners are the same people that got Rutgers and UCLA to be league rivals. The fact they want more teams in the dance against the wishes of the people that consume the product, us the fans, is proof positive it's the wrong move. There's a difference between fans of college athletics and people that work in college athletics. Administrators view this as a career. What's best for them is what's best for the spreadsheet and for the bottom line. Fans, the people that live and die with every game, that love their school so much more than someone furthering a career, will understand they have made clear what they want. So it's a lot of, there you go. It's going to come down to the dollars. It's going to come down to the power schools. And it's going to come down to, in the end, I think, whether it's Friday, whether it's Monday, the next time I'm back with you, it's going to be the NCAA tournament has expanded to 72. It has expanded to 76. And we are just going to have to look at it through a prism. There is no proof of concept yet. If it goes, whether it's 4 more, 8 more, are there going to be mid-majors, or are we just going to get 8 more power schools? Because if we go to 76 and those 8 become power schools, all power schools, there's going to be blowback. There just is, because those power schools are going to be a whole lot of 17 and 16 teams that and you're going to have schools that are left out that are more worthy than them. Are they worthy enough to get in the field of 68? That's another conversation. But and then everybody's going to go, well, it was just 1 year. Just wait. We just got to let this play out. But once the toothpaste's out of the tube, we're not having tournament contraction. Absolutely not. It'll only expand. So I see both sides of it. I feel like in my gut, from the only lane I'm looking at it from a standpoint of this is good, is that it makes it a little bit easier for there to be more in the current landscape, the way the game has kind of been rigged, that there's a better chance for Missouri Valley, the conference, to have multiple bids. But every other part of me, it doesn't matter. It's just stuff that's going to happen on Tuesday and Wednesday that I'm going to ignore, and then I'll be like, okay, I'm ready to roll on Thursday. And that's the way I've been for the last however many years since they went to 65, went to 68, and that's just going to expand into this new number, whatever it ultimately ends up being. All right, soapbox off. I don't even know if I made a coherent point and all that, but there we are. Thanks for taking us on the road today. A road game from here in Dublin, Ohio. We will be back at home base Friday morning. Belmont's Tyler Lundblade will be with us, the number one three-point shooter in America last year. He is back in Nashville, Tennessee. We'll talk with him coming up on Friday morning. If you haven't done so already, if you're there already hanging out, you just need to click on the button. And on YouTube, just go to the little subscribe button, click on that, leave a comment, share, subscribe, all of that good stuff. Helps us out immensely as we continue to try to grow this show for all of you Missouri Valley Conference fans out there. Thanks for being with us today. Hopefully the stream was okay and we held up and got to the end of it. So I think we did. So it's probably best to get out of here while we can. Thanks for watching Morning in the Valley. We will see you Friday morning right here. Have a great day.